Okay, geile Scheiße. Das Aufnahmeprogramm, also Shadowplay, hat nicht alles komplett aufgenommen, mein Bildschirm. Und dementsprechend habe ich ungefähr 1 Folge nicht den Bildschirm aufgenommen. Dementsprechend, bevor ich euch jetzt quasi die ganze Zeit einen Screen zeige, mache ich kurz eine Zusammenfassung, was in der letzten Episode passiert ist. Und werde jetzt den Trial einfach komplett hochladen, weil es sonst kacke ist. Das heißt, freut euch auf diese extra enorm lange Folge. Es gibt ungefähr, 1 Minute noch Intro oder keine Ahnung mal, wie lange es sein wird, wo man so ein bisschen raushören kann, was alles noch passiert ist. In der ersten Folge ist sowieso nicht viel passiert. Dementsprechend hier mal eben die kleinen Infos zusammengefasst. Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu einer weiteren Episode Danganronpa, Trigger Havoc. Warum jetzt? It's the end of the line, the trash room. This is where all the trash in school eventually winds up. How do you get this gate open? No, no entry beyond this point. Only the person on cleaning duty is allowed in.
No, you can't go any further.
Only the person on cleaning duty is allowed in. Who's on cleaning duty?
You can't go any further.
This is stupid. I'd be faster to just go around and ask the others.
You can't go any further.
Hä, ist der irgendwie verbuggt? Clean duty. There's apparently a trash room within the school. It's blocked off by a sturdy gate that can only be opened with the trash room key. Aber wer hat den Schlüssel? Der weiß das doch, oder? Du bist doch hier akkurat. Cleaning duty? As a matter of fact, Monokuma came and talked to me yesterday morning. Really? He probably realized I was basically in charge, so he decided to talk to me directly. The topic of the conversation was assigning cleaning duty, so you're on cleaning duty now. Actually, no. Okay, who is it then? Es war der Fanfiction-Writer all along. I'm looking for whoever's on cleaning duty. Cleaning duty? As a matter of fact, that's me. Why do you ask? Basically, der Fanfiction-Creator ist der Typ, der auf Cleaning Duty ist und er kann nur das Tor öffnen, also gehen wir hin und öffnen das Tor. Und wir stellen fest, da wurde Zeugs gemacht, obwohl er nicht den Schlüssel hatte. Also der Mörder hat irgendwas gemacht, obwohl er den Schlüssel nicht hatte. Und letztendlich war eine Kugel noch auf dem Boden zerschmettert. Vor dem Verbrenner. Das war's. Ja, das ist ja mega obvious. Genau dieses Hemd hat der Leon. There's something on the ground in front of the incinerator. Looks like a burnt piece of something. Wie ist er in den Raum reingekommen, wenn er nicht auf Cleaning Duty war? That's my crystal ball.
I'm getting tired of waiting. What say we just get started, It's time for the long-awaited class trial!
In der nächsten Episode. So, ich habe eben meine Facecam neu einmal abgespeichert, dass ich das auf jeden Fall von der letzten Episode habe. So. Ich würde den gerne hier accusen. Well, I did my job. I'm counting on the rest of you from here on out. Du weißt es doch auch. Let's get started. Wo muss ich hin? I guess I have no choice but to get on this elevator. Let us begin.
Yes, indeed. Hey.
Are you scared? No, scared isn't quite right. I said it before, but it's up to you to uncover the mysteries surrounding this case yourself. If you don't, you will never come to grips with the truth. In Sayaka's honor, I will swear we'll find out who the real killer is. As I raised my voice to try and give myself courage, I turned, trembling with anticipation, towards the elevator. With each step forward, I could feel my heart starting to race faster and faster. Everyone else was already on the elevator. When I finally stepped on, the doors closed and the elevator started to move. Oh, ist das spannend! The steel box descended with heavy clunking sounds towards the school's basement. I wonder if this is how a death row inmate feels when his time finally comes. Rather than that, is it not more like a defendant waiting to receive his judgment? Obviously, To our shattered anxiety, the elevator lowered us further and further into the bowels of the school. You finally arrived. What do you think? Doesn't it feel like a real courtroom? It's like a Hollywood movie set, right? Total shit. Sieht auch echt schlecht aus. Okay, okay. Everyone find you a assigned seat and sit down. Hurry up and hurry up. We did what he said and found our seats. Ah, okay, das sieht viel besser aus. The seats were arranged in a giant circle. It was set up so that everyone could see everyone else, which also meant it would be easy for anyone to transfer their tension and unease onto anyone else. The air seemed to grow heavy as we sat there. Das sieht nicht nach Sitzen aus. And so the curtain on our first case opened. Deadly judgment, a deadly deception, a deadly betrayal. A deadly riddle, a deadly defense, a deadly fate, a deadly class trial. Okay, ganz cool. Do you want to save? Ja. Übrigens, jede Entscheidung, ich werde übrigens OpenE Handbook. Hä? Ich weiß schon, wer der Mörder ist. Increase the influence gauge by... Increase your truth bullet rate of fire. Hä? Increase damage to the opponent when a statement is destroyed. What the fuck?
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results.
Hat das in die letzte Folge gesagt?
If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate.
And the killer really is one of us, right?
Of course!
Okay, everyone, close your eyes. And whoever did it, raise your hand.
Don't be a goddamn idiot. Why the hell would they raise their hand?
Before we move on and start the trial, can I ask a question real quick? What's going on with those pictures?
I'd feel awful if they got left out just because they died. Friendship penetrates even death's barrier.
Friendship penetrates? Okay, but what about that other empty seat? There were only 15 of us to begin with, so why are there 16 seats?
Oh, no reason. It's just that our little courtroom here can technically fit up to 16 people. Okay, that about does it for the preamble. Get ready to get started. First up is the case summary. Now, let the class trial begin!
It's about to begin the debate to decide who we think the killer is. Anything I found, anything I've noticed. I have to ready to speak up about everything because this isn't just about me. Everyone's lives are on the line. Your first non-stop debate is about to begin. We'd like to hear more. Yeah. As things progress during each class trial, we'll engage a number of non-stop debates. During these discussions, characters will speak one after another without pause. It's up to you to unearth any lies or contradictions burned within their statements. What this means is that you will have to use your truth bullets to refute what they say. Any relevant truth bullets you found during your investigation will be loaded into the truth cylinder. Use the left stick to aim, then fire with the Y button. Pay close attention to each other character's statement and use your truth bullets to blast the white ones. Note that if you run out of time, you will automatically fail, so please be careful. If you press the start button during these arguments, you can review the controls. Well then, good luck and have fun. Alter, ich bin mega aufgeregt.
I assert that the one who was murdered was Miss Sayaka myself.
Was? Was? I assert that the one who was murdered was Miss Sayaka. Assert true. Is element present by?
Yeah, we know that part already.
And the murder took place in Makoto's room.
In the bathroom. So it seems most likely that the killer must have taken her by surprise while she was in the bathroom. She didn't even have a chance to resist.
No, that's wrong. Just a second, Chihiro. Try to remember how my room looked. With the way things had been damaged, I think we can definitely assume there was a struggle.
Okay, ich hab's glaube ich verstanden.
Struggle? Between who and who?
Between Sayaka and the killer, of course.
So you're saying Sayaka wasn't caught by surprise in the bathroom? She must have been attacked in the main room first. Then she ran to the bathroom to try and hide. The killer followed her in, and that's where they finished the job.
That much should have been obvious after taking one look at the scene. It shouldn't even need explaining.
Sorry.
Okay, so what's next?
Next is the subject of the murder weapon.
Wow, this is starting to sound like a real trial.
We need to determine what was used to kill Sayaka. Das Messer! Aus der Küche. Kitchen knife set. Okay.
So what was used to kill her?
There was some kind of sharp object thrust into her stomach. Without a doubt, that is the murder weapon.
So the killer used some random knife they had on him.
Not any random knife.
No. I do think it was a knife, but not just any knife. I'm almost positive it was a kitchen knife.
Huh? A kitchen knife?
After the murder, we discovered that one of the knives from the kitchen was missing.
Which means that knife must be the murder weapon.
Oh, yeah. I guess that makes sense. You could sort of see the weapon sticking out of her stomach. And if you look real close, I could totally see that being a kitchen knife.
Okay, so the murder weapon was a kitchen knife, but where does that get us? I mean, we all know Makoto killed her, right?
That's right. Makoto's room was the scene of the crime.
Hold on a second.
Let's draw our conclusions after we've presented our arguments. Otherwise, what's the point of the trial?
Well, we can talk all we want. It's not going to change that conclusion.
I don't think that's true at all. I'm sure if we keep at it, something new will reveal itself.
You really believe that?
She's right, there gotta be a breakthrough somewhere just waiting for us to find it. Because I know damn well I'm not the killer. Es ist immer noch Leon! There's a bit more to learn. Okay, gerne. You can concentrate by holding down the RB, but RB war der obere, okay. While you concentrate, time will slow down and then you can pay close attention to what everyone is saying. On top of that, you will steady your aim, making it easier to target potential weak points. Concentrating like this consumes the focus gauge. If the gauge empties, you can't concentrate, but the focus gauge will recover over time, so let your brain take a rest. No need to rush. Well then, good luck and have fun. Ayu's account?
So I guess there's no question that the kitchen knife was the murder weapon. But where does that get us?
Makoto must have taken it from the kitchen, right? And did it in secret. Nobody was in the dining hall.
No, that's wrong.
Die Schwimmerin war.
Okay, wait. Hold on. I didn't take the knife from the kitchen.
Next, you're gonna say you're not the killer, right?
Ayo war die Schwimmerin und mit Account wird gemeint, dass ich ihr Alibi habe.
Well, what if I have a witness? What do you think, Hina?
Huh?
Remember what you were telling me earlier?
I went to get some tea from the kitchen the last night. All the knives were still there. But when I finished my tea and went back into the kitchen to wash my glass, one of the knives was gone. So you're saying the knife disappeared while drinking your tea in the hall, yeah.
Just to be perfectly clear, the knife disappeared while you were in the dining hall, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And at any point while you were there, did you ever see me come into the dining hall?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think?
No, he definitely wasn't there.
The knife disappeared while Hina was in the dining hall. But I wasn't there the entire time. In other words, there's no way I could have taken the knife.
Okay, then what about this? What if the idiot swimmer girl and Makoto are in on it together and lying to protect each other?
Idiot swimmer girl? Oh, and more importantly, why would I get involved in something like that?
Speaking of which, I'd like to ask the bear, if there is an accomplice, do they also become blackened?
So you ask, and so I shall answer. Each murder is allowed to have an accomplice, but only the one who does the killing will get to graduate.
So in other words, two people can work together, but one of them has no chance of profiting from it.
Then there's no way anyone would work together, right?
But what if they did work together, and they just didn't know about the rule?
Good grief! Enough already! No, okay? There are no accomplices in this case! Oops! Did I say that out loud?
Anyway, I didn't go to the dining hall, and I didn't take the knife. So I'm not the killer.
Okay, so then, who did take the knife? Hina seems the obvious candidate. After all, she just said she was in the dining hall.
No way! I swear it wasn't me!
Sure, but can you or anyone else prove that? I can.
That's right! Sakura was with me the entire time I was drinking my tea.
I hate to have to ask, but just to be sure, Sakura's...
Me.
Right.
But then, couldn't either one of them have grabbed the knife?
Actually, no. Because, well...
Just spit it out, or...
I stayed in Hina's room last night.
I got so scared thanks to those creepy videos. I wasn't really thinking, I just asked her to stay over.
Which means we have airtight alibis.
You stayed over? Doesn't that violate one of the school regulations?
Nein, weil es egal ist, wo man
We're
pennt.
not allowed to sleep anywhere but the dorms. But it doesn't say we have to stay in our assigned room. So, I don't think that's a problem.
It is a problem! A boy and a girl spending the night together? It's unwholesome!
Bro, das sind beides Girls.
You are? Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry!
But
You
if it
just-
wasn't either of you, then what other possibility is there?
Das war das, also... Okay, ich möchte keine gesellschaftlichen Themen ansprechen.
Actually, there is one
Aber
other
sowas merke ich mir
possibility.
dann.
Right, Hina.
Sowas achte ich dann, wenn man sich nicht sicher ist. Sekunde, ich werde angerufen. Okay, weiter geht's. Actually, there is one of the other episodes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. One other person did come to the dining hall while we were there.
Oh no.
Why didn't you say so in the first place?
Ja, das habe ich auch gefragt vor 2 Episoden.
Well, because they're not here anymore.
Sag nicht, die gestorben ist die Mörderin.
Sayaka. She's the one who came to the dining hall. And then later, she wound up dead.
Moment, Sayaka hat das Messer.
I got it! Then, Sayaka is the one who took the knife?
That's the only possibility. And thinking back on it, she was acting kind of unusual. When she came into the dining hall, she didn't even look at us. She just went straight to the kitchen. As she left, she said she just wanted a drink of water. But most likely...
Then the person who took the knife was the victim herself.
I'm sure she just took it for self-defense.
So you're saying the knife she took was then taken from her, and she was killed with it? In that case, you may not have taken the knife, but you still could have killed her.
What?
See? He did do it after all!
No! You're wrong!
So, that's how you would twist the argument and send us all off in the wrong direction? You possess a most terrifying talent.
Damn. If I don't do anything, they're gonna blame me for the murder. Don't they understand? If they convict me, everyone is gonna die.
Hold on. It's still too early to decide conclusively that Makoto is the killer, wouldn't you say? Because you see, if the room did belong to the killer, then they did something most bewildering.
If the room did belong to the
And
killer.
until we unravel that little mystery, you simply can't declare that he's the killer.
Bewildering? What the hell are you talking about?
Something was missing from the scene of the crime that by all rights should have been there. You know what I'm talking about, don't you?
Hangman's Gambit is about to begin. Would you like to hear more? Yeah. As things advance further in class trial, the Hangman's Gambit will eventually take place. The point of this review is an important phrase related to the incident in question. You will have to deduce the phrase from the letters flying around and then letters. Complete the phrase by shooting down the flying letters in the right order. If you shoot down the wrong letters, you will suffer damage to your influence gauge. If this gauge reaches you, or if you run out of time, you fail. Well then, good luck and have fun. Seen but wasn't. Ich weiß es nicht! Ah, okay. Verstehe. Hair.
Now I understand.
Das konnte man auch so lösen. Okay, gut.
That's right. There wasn't a single hair on the floor.
So, the culprit removed some evidence?
Yes. And if I were the culprit, why would I need to get rid of all the hair in my own room? It wouldn't be unusual at all to find my hair at the crime scene if the crime scene is in my room.
The reason all the hair was gone was to remove any trace that Sayaka had ever been there. That makes sense, does it not?
No. If that were the case, they would have had to do something about the body itself, not just her hair.
Yes, very true, very true.
Okay, then why wasn't there any hair on the ground?
The killer got rid of it all, of course, to remove any trace that they had ever been there.
Wait, then that means...
Precisely. It's simply beyond reason to believe that the room's owner and the killer are one and the same.
Then, Makoto isn't the culprit?
Are you sure we can decide something so important based solely on the absence of some hair?
No. There are other reasons that prove why Makoto couldn't have done it.
I would like to hear these reasons.
Do you remember anything remarkable about the bathroom at the scene? Sayaka was attacked in the main room first, then fled into the bathroom, right?
Yeah, then they ran after her, got into the bathroom, and stabbed her.
And how did the killer get into the bathroom? Did they have any trouble with it?
What do you mean?
It's fairly certain that the killer had some trouble getting into the bathroom. There was clear evidence left behind. Do you remember, Makoto?
The killer struggled getting into the bathroom and the evidence that proves it is the object. Ja.
I got it! Evidence that the killer had trouble getting into the bathroom. You're talking about the doorknob, right?
Huh? The doorknob? What doorknob?
The doorknob for my bathroom. It was completely broken. See how the top part was unscrewed? And the doorknob's about ready to fall off?
Oh yeah, true. But what does it mean?
In trying to bypass the lock, they ended up nearly removing the entire doorknob. This is another most bewildering act for the room's owner. It proves Makoto is beyond suspicion.
So what? You're saying he wouldn't break the door in his own room? But if the only choice you have is to break it, you break it. There's nothing bewildering about it.
You still don't see? Okay then. Let's take another look at how the incident unfolded. Hopefully that will help you understand.
Koiko said it was a bewildering act. Bit more to learn, ja. Ich muss alles lernen jetzt. From here on out, the number of weak points will start going up. But no matter how many weak points, there is essentially only one lie or contradiction in that debate. What I'm trying to say is, not all weak spots you see are necessarily false. Use a tooth bullet on the wrong one, and not only will you fail to refute what they said, but you will also lower your trust with everyone, and influence Gosh will take damage. Now, this is important because if you influence Gosh reach 0, you fail. You will have to rely on your own logic to determine which weak spots are actually lies or contradiction. Well then, good luck. Bathroom door frame, okay.
The incident took place in Makoto's room. Sayaka was first attacked in the main room. She then fled into the bathroom.
Yeah?
Then the killer ran after her. And they got into the bathroom.
At that point, the killer had to try and bust down the door. Because Sayaka had locked it.
And finally, the couple
Nein, es war nicht
Sayaka
gelockt.
cornered.
To finish the job, stabbed her with the kitchen knife.
It was you, wasn't it, Makoto? Admit it.
Ich wollte das andere
We
abschießen.
already know the answer.
Ich hab den falschen... It's not because there was a different reason entirely.
The incident took place in Makoto's room. Sayaka was first attacked in the main
Ja, den
room.
wollte ich nicht abschießen.
She then fled into the bathroom.
Then the killer ran after her. And they got into the bathroom.
At that point, the killer had to try and bust down the door. Because Sayaka had locked it.
No, what's wrong? The reason my bathroom didn't open wasn't because it was locked. After all, the girls' rooms
Das
are
wollte ich halt
the only
damit
ones with
sagen.
locking bathrooms, right?
Yes, now that you mention it, that is true.
Then why didn't your bathroom door open?
Because it was stuck.
Huh? What are you talking about?
My bathroom door doesn't fit in the frame quite right. Monokuma over there can testify to that.
Yup, true as true can be. But you know, you're supposed to be the ultimate lucky student, right? But to have such a cruddy door, that's not lucky at all.
So the reason the door didn't open was just because it was stuck. But the killer didn't know that and assumed it was locked. So they tore apart the doorknob to get in.
Okay, but then why would the killer even think the door was locked in the first place?
Weil er dumm ist.
Everyone should have known you can't lock any of the boys' bathrooms.
The killer could easily make that mistake, thanks to one important detail about the scene of the crime.
The killer was convinced the bathroom door was locked. They didn't know that the door actually couldn't be locked. The important detail about the scene of the crime That they didn't know was the kind of crazy man.
I got it! The killer must not have realized that it was my room.
What? Are you saying the culprit didn't even know where he was? That's inconceivable!
And yet, he's absolutely right.
Say what?
Well, to be more specific, what the killer didn't know was that Makoto and Sayaka had switched rooms, which is what led to the misunderstanding about the bathroom. If Sayaka had been in her own room,
then there would have been a lock on the door, and they would have had to break through.
So they had no idea how unnecessary their actions were.
Ultimately, we can't know if it came open by force or simply by accident. But the killer must have been considerably confused, with no idea how they actually got the door opened.
Regardless, it was a pointless act. Wasting time trying to break down a door that wasn't locked is...
Definitely something I wouldn't do, since I would have known exactly why it wasn't opening, right?
That is a definite possibility.
So the killer would have to be someone who didn't know they'd switched rooms?
Then Makoto couldn't have done it.
That's what I've been trying to tell you.
Then who did do it?
I'm sorry, but I give up! Quit without saving!
But what happens if we can't decide on who we think did it?
Well, why don't we just vote right now? Majority
rules? Do you really think that's a good idea?
Yeah, our necks are on the line here. Someone seriously needs to do something. For serious.
Does no one have any other thoughts or questions? It does not matter how trivial they may seem.
Oh! As a matter of fact, I do have one question.
Oh, you
don't gotta sound so disappointed.
It's fine, it's fine. Just ask your question.
Oh yeah. Okay, so, well, I was just wondering, how did the culprit get into Makoto's room in the first place?
Yes.
Das weiß ich nicht.
Did the killer get inside?
Maybe Sayaka just dropped the key somewhere and the culprit picked it up. That's possible, right?
I don't think so. That seems way too convenient.
Then maybe someone picked the lock?
Negative! If you remember, Monokuma made it quite clear that the locks are all unpickable.
Fine. How about this? The killer got in the easy way. They could have knocked and said they wanted to talk or something, and Miss Maizono just let him in.
No, that can't be it either.
Oh, trying to argue against me? Sounds like someone doesn't know his place. Hello? Why exactly?
Because he asked me to do something particular because how frightened she was. Because... Ich hatte meinen Schlüssel.
I got it!
Oder?
Because Sayaka was already scared, remember? That's why she asked me to switch rooms.
Genau, deswegen. Ja.
Knowing what she'd been through, I just can't believe she would have opened the door for anyone.
What if her being scared was a lie?
Huh? Well, what the hell is that supposed to mean? Why would she lie about something like that?
I know you don't want to consider it, but look at this and tell me. Can you still deny the possibility?
There's something I want to talk about, just happened to consume my room. Check the nameplates to make sure you don't get the wrong room, okay?
I found a notepad during my search, and I shaded in the top sheet with a pencil, and these are the words that appear.
Oh man! I've totally seen people do that on detective shows. When you write, it can leave an imprint. Sketch over the next sheet of paper, and you can see the words. When I saw that, I was like, holy crap! I'd better make sure I rip the paper out before I use it from now on.
It's a pretty old-fashioned technique, but even the classics can be surprisingly useful sometimes. Oh, and I should also mention, I found the notepad on the desk in Makoto's room.
Huh?
Which means, only someone who had been in Makoto's room before the incident could have written it.
Then either it was Makoto who lived there, or Sayaka who switched rooms for a single night.
So, Makoto, did you write this?
Nein.
No, I didn't. But
Of course you didn't. Because the note also bears a perfectly legible signature. Sayaka's signature.
but why? Why would she write that?
The note was likely her way of getting in touch with a certain someone. She must have slid it under their door to let them know she wanted to meet with them in secret.
If you got an invitation like that from the ultimate pop sensation, what young man could resist?
Und Leon brauchte eine Singerin.
Of course, I'm only into 2D, so it wouldn't have any effect on me.
But can we be sure anyone even got this note? And honestly, even if they did, I do not think they are at all involved in what happened.
Huh? What makes you say that?
Would you like to hear what I have to say? Very well then. Sayaka and Makoto switched rooms, correct?
Yes.
But in the note, the place they were asked to come to, it specifically says, my room.
I see. So if someone read that note, then they would have gone to Sayaka's room.
Ja.
Exactly. The room that Makoto was staying in. So in other words, even if someone did read the note and did what it said, they would not have any connection to what happened.
It certainly would seem that way.
The killer went to my room instead of Sayaka, and the reason for that is because of what got switched between...
Sayaka and Makoto switched rooms, correct?
Yeah.
But in the note, the place they were asked to come to, it specifically says, my room.
Hä?
Sayaka and Makoto switched rooms, correct?
Yeah.
But in the note, the place they were asked to come to, it specifically says, my room.
I see. So if someone read that note, then they would have gone to Sayaka's room.
Exactly. The room that Makoto was staying in.
Ja, da habe ich eben schon drauf geschossen. Okay, ich war vielleicht zu langsam.
The nameplates on Mai and Sayaka's rooms got switched.
They got switched?
That's right. The nameplates got switched, just like the rooms themselves. As a result, the nameplate on Sayaka's room actually had Makoto's name. And the nameplate on Makoto's room had Sayaka's.
So what you're saying is, the room Sayaka was staying in was actually marked as her room.
Then, if someone did do what the note said, they would end up at Makoto's room where Sayaka was.
Plus, their rooms are right next to each other. So switching the nameplates would be no problem. And the one who switched the names was... Well, of course it wasn't you, right, Makoto?
Das war Sayaka.
Okay, then who did it?
Gut, dass ich Sayaka nicht als meine Waifu bezeichnet habe, ja. Alle, die Sayaka als Waifu bezeichnet haben, get pwned, die wollte uns einen Mord anhängen.
Me and Sayaka were the only ones who ever knew about us switching rooms. So the only other person besides me who would even know to switch the nameplates was Sayaka.
You can also infer as much from her note.
In 5 minutes, come to see my room. Check the nameplates to make sure you don't get the wrong
She
room.
specifically tells the reader to check the nameplate. She would only have written that if she knew the nameplates had been switched.
But why would she switch them in the first place?
She wanted someone to come to the room she was in, and also hide the fact that it was Makoto's room.
What?
Inviting someone to your room, but not telling them you'd switched rooms.
Die wollte uns einen Mord anhängen,
To
die
understand
Alte.
that, we first need to understand what happened after she invited the person into That's Where the Answer Lies.
What happened then was, whoever she invited over came in and
Nee.
attacked her. We figured it out. We know who did
it! Whoever she invited over is the culprit!
Ja, das ist klar.
We still don't know who it is, you goddamn idiot.
Sayaka fought with her killer there in the room, yes? Perhaps the answer to our previous question lies in that initial struggle.
Yes, I think you're right.
Then... we just have to figure out what happened during the fight, right?
That reminds me. There was a replica sword at the murder scene. Was that perhaps used during the fight?
Oh yeah. What's the deal with that sword?
Sayaka suggested I should hold on to it. I thought it might come in handy if I had to defend myself. It seems pretty likely that the killer used it to break Sayaka's right wrist.
How the hell could you possibly know that's what broke her wrist?
When you look at the wrist, there's no doubt.
I got it!
Nee, nicht.
All you have to do is take a good look at her broken wrist, and it should become pretty clear. Right there where her wrist is all swollen. There's something glittery there. See?
Is that gold?
It sure is. Specifically, the gold coating from the replica sword. You barely have to touch that stuff, and it'll stick right to you. And there's some on her wrist because...
I got it! Because she got hit with the sword! Right there on her wrist!
I see. And so the truth draws ever closer.
Alright, then it's about time to solve this mystery.
What happened in my room? Let's there's a bit more to learn about non-stop debates. Lernen. Are you getting used to these? Ja. Starting with the next debate, you will start loading multiple truth bullets. Nein! But just like the weak points, only one of the bullets can actually... Okay, in other words, from here out, you will have to combine the right truth bullets with the right weak spots. Oof! If you come up with the wrong combination, you will take damage. Okay, you can press... Okay. Okay. For our purpose this time, the logic difficulty will be set to mean. Well then, good. Was?
When the fighting broke out, the culprit grabbed the sword. And that's when the first blow was dealt. A sword-based sneak attack.
No, that's wrong. Actually, no. I don't think the fight started with the sword.
Why not?
Because the sword sheath had been scratched. See? There's a gash in it. Like someone cut into it with something sharp.
Something sharp? You mean like the kitchen knife? That was the only sharp thing found at the scene.
Stop jumping ahead. Slow down and explain it so I get what the hell's going on.
If the sword was used first, there wouldn't be any explanation for the scratch on the sheath. If you were going to attack with the...
That's true. With the sheath on, it'd be heavy and bulky and useless as shit.
Okay, so how did the sheath get damaged?
If they got attacked with the kitchen knife, maybe they grabbed the sword as a defensive impulse. In that situation, there wouldn't be any time to actually unsheath the sword.
So you're saying the sword was initially used to defend against an attack from the knife?
Which means whoever had the kitchen knife was the one who attacked first.
I think I get it. So here's how it all played out. The culprit came in, found the kitchen knife hidden there somewhere, and then they took the knife and attacked Sayaka before she knew what was happening. So she grabbed the sword to defend herself. But then the culprit took that from her too. Then, after they broke her wrist with the sword, they...
Sorry, but I don't think Sayaka used the sword to defend herself.
What? How the hell can you not think that?
Because she never held the sword at all. There's a certain part of her body that makes this clear.
I got it!
Ja, weil sie keine
You're talking
Glitzer.
about her palms. The palms of her hands were perfectly clean. so I don't think she ever picked up.
How can you know that?
Like I said before. In fact,
Yeah.
if you look, you'll notice that a lot of the gold has already come off the handle. It's safe to assume that's because whoever used the sword, there's really no way she could have picked it up and come away completely clean.
Maybe she washed her hands after she escaped into the bathroom.
Nein.
But
Why did you say that?
no, that's...
Because the water was off
I got it!
in der Nacht.
According to the Monokuma file, Sayaka's time of death was around 1:30 a.m. In other words, at nighttime. And the water in the bathroom shuts off at nighttime, right?
Oh, I didn't know that. Actually, I haven't taken a shower here yet.
My.
You're no different. You smell like a big fat ugly donkey.
I'm not insult obvious.
So anyway, if Sayaka never touched the sword, then that means the killer is the only one who used the sword. But hold on. If that's right, then the one who damaged the sheets with the kitchen knife was...
Sayaka.
I got it! Sayaka? She had the kitchen knife?
But we already said that the attack started with...
The person with the knife attacked first, and the sword was used as an impromptu defense.
Then the one who attacked first was...
Sayaka. Yeah.
Now do you understand? She wasn't a blameless victim in this.
No, far from it. It's almost as if she'd been planning to commit a murder of her own. She took the knife from the kitchen, then invited the culprit to the room she was staying in. And if it's true that she had the kitchen knife and attacked without provocation...
Indeed. These are all the actions of an assailant.
Which brings up another point. Makoto, Sayaka was the one who suggested you two switch rooms. Maybe the reason she wanted to switch rooms was so that she could pin the crime on you. That is...
Sayaka wanted to...
Yeah.
Would also explain why she would switch the nameplates. She wanted to get whoever she had targeted to come to and by committing the murder there instead of her room, that would implicate Makoto. But for that to work, the target had to be lured out while still keeping the room swap a secret. If the target knew she had switched rooms, they would have become suspicious right away.
So all that's why she switched the names?
But doesn't that plan seem a little risky? For one thing, even if her plan worked, Mr. Naegi would just tell everyone they'd switched rooms.
I don't know. I'm not sure our soft-hearted Makoto is capable of that kind of cutthroat behavior. I'm sure Sayaka realized the same thing, which is why out of all of us, she asked him to switch rooms.
Plus, she was the ultimate pop sensation. A totally forgettable kid. Or a national superstar. Or...
Wait, then you're saying she had this all planned?
Holy shit!
But in the end, her plan backfired. She launched her attack with the knife, then found herself under attack in turn. That must be when her wrist got broken, and she was forced to drop the knife.
The tables were suddenly turned on her, and she died at the hands of the one she'd planned to murder.
Just hold on! That can't be true, because...
Hey! You guys have totally derailed the argument. You're being super boring right now. Come on, hurry up and decide who did it. Wouldn't it be awful if I had to punish you all just because you ran out of time?
Oh yeah, we gotta decide...
Makoto, right now you just need to concentrate on figuring out the answer to this mystery. If we can't uncover who murdered Sayaka, it's over for all of us.
Yeah. I mean, as far as close go, there's nothing left. Was? Oh nein. Dying message.
It's easy just to say, hey, decide who did it. But there just aren't any more clues, right?
No, it's wrong! There still might be one clue left. Sayaka's dying message.
Dining? Wait, what did you say?
The dying message. She wrote something on the wall behind her, remember? 11037. Written in her own blood.
Well, before we get too far into that, I need to ask, can we really be sure that Sayaka is the one who wrote it?
There's no question that Sayaka wrote that message. I can prove it.
I got it!
Ja, klar.
Index finger had blood on it.
Aber das hätte auch der Mörder machen können.
That could only be because she used that finger to write the message.
I see. She broke her right wrist during the fight. So she'd have to
Also hätte man einfach den Finger nehmen müssen, ins Blut rein und dann die Message und dann auf jemand anderen quasi. Das ginge auch.
Sure. I think we can all agree Sayaka wrote it.
Nein, können wir nicht.
What the heck do those numbers mean?
Hey, Chihiro. You're a computer nerd or whatever, right? You should know all about numbers and shit.
No, that's not... Yes, I'm a programmer, but I don't see any kind of meaning in these numbers.
Of course. It's because they're not
The letters!
Oh, yeah, it looks like...
Huh? What?
No, it's just... look at the numbers, assuming they're not numbers. Don't these first two, 1-1, look less like two numbers and more like one letter?
Ah, you're right. The connecting line is barely there. So I'm looking at it now. You could also read it as an N.
Whoa. You might have finally just said something worth a shit.
Our little princess are really getting excited now.
But even if that really is an N, N037, doesn't make any more sense than before.
It's no use, I just don't know.
Rotate the image 180 degrees.
Rotate it.
Oh my god. Now I see. She wrote down the killer's name.
Huh? You just shot past the clue part and right on to who did it.
So, whose name did she write?
Ich weiß nicht, wie man Text in Paint rotiert. Bro.
Here's my answer. The key to solving this mystery was simply to rotate. If you turn
Da
the
kam
message
ich nach
around,
5 Minuten drauf.
it becomes the letters L-E-O-N. L-E-O-N. Or more accurately, Leon.
What the hell are you talking about? It's just a coincidence. It's just a bunch of random squiggles that happen to look like my name.
No, it's not random at all. She wrote that message on the wall behind her as she was leaning up against it. In that position, she couldn't move to write normally, and had to write upside down, and as a result, when you look at it standing in front of her, it ends up getting flipped. Try it for yourself if you want. Write something sitting like her, and the letters will be inverted.
That sounds like one hell of a stretch to me. I'm the killer? You can't just go and say shit like that.
If you're not the killer, then why did you try to destroy the evidence?
Huh?
You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? The evidence Leon tried to get rid of?
Ja.
I got it! You mean the burnt shirt piece I found laying on the ground by the incinerator, right?
As the killers stabbed Sayaka, they must have gotten some of her blood on them. And to dispose of the shirt covered in the victim's blood.
But one piece burned off.
And the killer didn't notice. If they had, they most certainly would have panicked. Isn't that right, Leon?
What?
But is one scrap of fabric enough to conclude that Leon is guilty?
Yeah, I mean, Leon's not the only one wearing a white button-up.
That's right. There are plenty of other people here with shirts like mine. With just that one little charred piece, there's no way you can say for sure who it belongs to.
You're right. That alone isn't enough. But there are some...
Are you finally starting to understand? The answers to all the...
Yeah.
There's something about it we need to pay attention in order. When? If we focus on that, the car will become... What do you mean the time it was destroyed?
Shoot!
Nein, das war's nicht. Ach so. Okay. Dann ging's darum, where. Okay, oder how. Ey, ist doch alles das Gleiche. Egal, ich habe genug Leben. Genau, I got it. First try.
How the shirt was disposed of. We should be able to figure out who the killer is.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I think I know what you're gonna say. You can't reach the incinerator without opening the gate in front of the trash room, right? And obviously, you wouldn't be able to hit the switch to turn it on either. You'd need the key to get in. And the one with the key was the person on cleaning duty. So the killer had to be whoever was in charge of taking care of the trash, right?
Interesting.
Now that's wrong. There was another way to use the incinerator without being the one on cleaning duty. And that exactly what proves that Leon is the real killer.
The key to the trash room. Whoever was on cleaning duty must have had it, right?
Shoot!
Ach so, in dem Sinne wird das gemeint. Okay.
The key to the trash room. Whoever was on cleaning duty must have had it, right?
Ja, das ist klar.
So the only one who could get to the incinerator was the person in charge of the trash?
And you'd have to get close to the incinerator in order to destroy the...
No, that's wrong. Hold on. I think I know how someone could dispose of the evidence without using the trash room key.
But if you can't get past the gate, you couldn't possibly turn on the incinerator, could you?
Yes, you could. If you used this.
What is it, some kind of glass ball? It's busted to hell.
Actually, it was supposed to be a crystal ball, but
But how would you use it?
Oh, throw it!
I got it! The killer simply took aim at the incinerator switch and threw the ball in the gap in the gate.
Und da der Leon ja so ein Baseballprofi war, konnte er das perfekt werfen.
All they had to do was hit that switch, and the incinerator would come to life.
Someone threw a gap in the gate?
Remember what you said before, Hifumi?
Don't turn on the incinerator. Ja. Oh!
Hifumi had the key. So it was because the killer was able to hit the switch without opening. Once they got the incinerator going, all they had to do was ball up the shirt and toss it in.
Hey, come on! What the hell is this?
All you have to do is look at the scene to know that the killer never actually went inside the trash room. The shards of broken glass, the incinerator left running, the piece of shirt that escaped the fire. If the killer had been on cleaning duty, the evidence would have been taken care of much more thoroughly.
Wait, no, just...
But the distance from the gate to the incinerator has to be at least the pinpoint accuracy you'd need to throw a glass ball that far and hit something that small. Could someone really do that?
That's right! There's no way!
Difficult, absolutely. Impossible? I don't think so.
Because the killer is Ultimate Baseball Star.
I got it! Because the killer is the ultimate baseball star. Isn't that right, Leon?
Do you have any idea how stupid you sound right now?
A target 30 feet away would surely be little challenge.
I'm not the killer! These goddamn shipper brains have got it all!
You still won't admit it? Okay then, Makoto. Go ahead and review the incident one more time to make this crime perfectly clear. And with that, we can end this.
Listen to me! What the hell do you mean, end this?
Say what you want, Leon. But all the questions have been answered, and the truth has been revealed. Now here's what happened.
Double to begin. Okay. Every case has one last element to bring the class trial to an end. This is the closing argument. In this phase, you will give a complete summary of the case. We have to reproduce the flow of events for the case in the form of a comic book. However, you will notice that in the comic there is a number of pieces missing. It's up to you to complete the comic using the provided truth panels. Also, if you take aim at missing section and press A button, holy cow, you get a hit. That might lead to a breakthrough. Well then, good luck and have fun. Was? Ist es von rechts nach links? Okay, machen wir erstmal die einfachen Sachen. Okay. So, der kam dahin. Oh Gott. Oh Gott, 1 ist zu viel. Ah, der hat zuerst geworfen, okay. Okay, muss ich das perfekt hinbekommen?
Here's exactly what happened.
Ungefähr so.
I think I'd better take one more look back at the case from the beginning. Last night, the killer went to the room Sayaka was in. In other words, my room. From what we can tell, Sayaka invited that person there intending to kill them. She attacked them with the knife she'd taken from the kitchen earlier. But then something happened that she wasn't prepared for. They grabbed the fake sword I put in my room and fought back. During the struggle, a strike from the sword broke Sayaka's right wrist.
Ja, es ist halt runtergefallen. Oh yeah, jetzt fängt's alles wieder von vorne an.
During the struggle, a strike from the sword broke Sayaka's right wrist. And that's when she lost her grip on the kitchen knife. Finding herself cornered, Sayaka panicked and ran into the bathroom. The killer went after her, but couldn't get the bathroom door open. What they didn't know was that my bathroom... Sayaka knew about that because I told her. But of course, the killer had no way of knowing. So instead, the killer forced the door open, took the kitchen knife, and stabbed Sayaka. But with what strength she had remaining to keep the killer from noticing, she wrote it on... And with that, all her strength was gone. With Sayaka dead, the killer quickly began destroying the evidence. First, they took off their shirt, which was covered in their victim's blood. Then they took the lint roller in my room and cleaned up the entire area. They wanted to make sure they got rid of any trace they... Afterwards, the killer headed to the trash room to destroy their bloody shirt. They tried to burn the shirt, but the trash room was blocked off by... So they came up with a plan to use Hiro's crystal ball, which he left in the laundry room.
Check mal, wie lange meine Wäsche noch
The
geht.
killer managed to throw the ball through the gap in the gate and hit the incinerator switch. For any normal person, that'd be an impossible throw. But the killer had the confidence to take a shot, and that's because the killer was the ultimate baseball star. The crystal ball, thrown with absolute precision, hit the switch on the incinerator, which then quickly roared to life. Having destroyed the final piece of evidence, they left the area with, I imagine, a sigh of relief. But there was one thing they missed. Part of the shirt they'd thrown into the fire burnt away and fell out of the incinerator. The killer didn't notice this, and so left behind a piece of indisputable evidence. Isn't that right, Leon? It would appear that Hiro simply forgot his crystal ball in the laundry room. You went there to try and wash the blood out of your shirt. And that's where you saw it, right? Seeing the ball? You thought of a way to take care of everything.
So, Leon, do you object to anything that's been said?
Do I object? Hell yes, I object! Of course I do! I object! I mean, all of this is just a bunch of stupid theories! You need evidence! Where's the evidence? Without evidence, it's all bullshit! It's bullshit and I refuse to acknowledge it!
Well then, I guess this is as good a time as any to present the evidence that proves you did it. Makoto, I believe you're in possession of that evidence.
Bullet time battle is about to begin. Noch mehr? Oof. Sometimes during class your opponents simply won't want to hear what you have to say. When this happens, you will engage them in a head-to-head battle. We like to refer to this as the bullet time battle. You want to destroy your opponent's statements in time with the rhythm. Match your button presses with each tempo marker they move across the team center. Hä? Destroys them you have locked on with the use the method to deal damage to your opponent. If you can't pull it off, you'll be the one in pain. Do this consecutively and you will start a combo. Keep this going and you will initiate a tempo up. The flip side, if you keep missing, you will get tempo down. when the tempo changes. Okay, so watch out for that. Damage your opponent, their weak spot statement will appear. At that point you can press the Y button to shoot down a truth bullet like any other statement. You shoot their statement faster and you will come out victorious. But just like before, if your influence gauge reaches 0, your enough time will fail. Well then, good luck!
When the killer removed the screws from the doorknob, they didn't use anything from your room to do it. Instead, they must have used something that belonged to them.
I refuse to acknowledge you. You're stupid. Stupid, 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 stupid.
I have to show evidence that Leon is the killer. The moment of truth. Oof.
Where's your proof? You kidding me? Not a chance. It wasn't me. Stupid. You lied. Stop talking. Shut up. Where's your proof? You kidding me? Not a chance. You lied. Shut up. Where's your proof? You kidding me? Not a chance. It wasn't me. Stupid. You lied. Stop talking. Where's your proof?
This should prove it.
Toolkit. Genau!
The screws on the bathroom doorknob were removed. I wonder what kind of tool
I mean, it had to be a screwdriver, right?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure the tool...
That must be what he used.
But the toolkit in my room had...
That's because the culprit didn't know it was your room. They thought they were in Sayaka's room.
Only the boys got toolkits, so the killer naturally assumed there wouldn't be one.
Okay, then whose toolkit did the killer use?
Stupid, stupid,
It had to be their very own toolkit.
stupid, stupid, stupid.
Leon, would you mind showing us your toolkit? If I'm right about this, then the screwdriver will show some evidence of being used.
Stupid, stupid, stupid.
And if you say you used it for something else, you'll have to explain exactly when, where, and why.
And let me say this, I lost it isn't an excuse at this point.
Stupid.
F.
So, you have no rebuttal?
Then it would seem we are finished here.
Extra große, lange Folge für die Fans, ja? Gibt's auch ein S-Rank? Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs.
Looks like you've reached your verdict. Then are we ready to cast our votes? You all have a lever in front of you. Use it to make your selection. Oh, just to remind you all, make triple sure you vote for someone. You wouldn't want to be punished for something so minor, right? Okay, then let's get excited! Who will be chosen as the Blackened? Will you make the right choice? Or the dreadfully wrong one? What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
Nice. Oh, looks like you got it right on the money. The black end in this case, the one that killed Sayaka, was none other than Leon.
Huh? Hey, hold on.
Leon, did you really kill Sayaka? I don't believe it.
You son of a bitch. I
didn't have a choice. It was kill or be killed.
That's why...
I killed her first.
None of you are any different!
One wrong step and I would be standing here. It was complete chance that I wounded up like this.
Just...
Unlucky.
Unlucky. That's all. Hey! Come on!
You expect me to just accept my death? Everything's become clear. The decision we made was right after all. But when I think about that, honestly, I would rather off with me being wrong, because if what we came up with really is the truth, then that truth is that Sayaka was trying to frame me. But even if that's true, I can't say she was wrong. After all, the mastermind, it's all because of that video. Yeah. Now we're trapped in here with no way out. They'll probably be waiting for me. I kind of think we're stuck in here. Yeah, the crazy bit. The one thing that was more important than dreams have friends. Ja. Traurige Sache. Echt traurig. Tut mir echt leid. Echt, wow. Sehr verständlich. So. Ja, please, sowas. Und ich habe auch noch darüber geredet, sie uns. Ja. War einfach eine dumme Bit. Oh, howdy. The entertainment in the streets must be sure terrifying, huh? I mean, to try and kill someone just because of those relationships. She seems so nice and lovely on the outside, but inside should be descended into pure madness. What did you say? Understand, I really I do. Yup. You're in utter despair thanks to Sayaka's betrayal, right? Compassion, love, the stronger those feelings, the stronger the despair when they collapse. Stop screaming with us. Sayaka being forced to do something like that, all of it, everything. It's all your fault. Suddenly...
That's enough.
As young as I was, Kyoko latched onto my arm without hesitation. Her grip was like iron, strong enough. I was sure I would leave a bruise. If you don't want to make her enemies pay for what they've done, you need to let it go for now. That was a close one. I thought for sure you were gonna give me a good whooping. Just barely avoided punishment, you did.
Yes, indeed.
Now then, since you so magnificently revealed the identity of the killer in the classroom, the Black and Leon will receive his punishment. Endlich!
Punishment?
Punishment review.
Execution? Wait a second!
I didn't have a choice. I had to kill her.
That's it?
Protecting myself.
Is that okay?
How exactly was it self-defense? When you forced your way into the bathroom, did you only use every own tool? After you shot yourself in the bathroom, you went out of your way to head back in your own room. Then you came all the way and broke into the bathroom and killed her. Am I wrong?
Understand?
Oh, yeah, that's not... Stop it.
Oh.
You were closer than her than anyone, were you not? You killed your precious Sayaka. Do you understand? Of course. Yeah. Because the one to blame is him. If it weren't for you, this would never happen to Sayaka or Leon. You shouldn't be fighting each other. We should be fighting against the one who puts us in this situation, the mastermind. Did you awaken a sense of justice? Well, it's just happened that there is nothing more unethical than an unwavering sense of justice. After all, it's people with that sort of mentality that perpetuate war all over the world. Is that the kind of justice? Ja. Well then, let's hurry up. Ja, endlich. Execution review. I'm begging you, please don't do this. No more begging, no excuses. Ja, komm.
Now then, I prepared a very special punishment.
For Leon Kuwata, the ultimate baseball star. Mit dem Baseball ins All. Oder sowas.
Everything we've got. It's punishment time. No!
Oh yes. Uff. Okay, wie brutal wird dieses Game jetzt? Monokumas Gesicht. What we saw was the true face of despair. I mean, if we can call it that, what else could we call it?
Extreme!
Extreme! Ich mag Monokuma.
I can't take it.
You really have to keep doing this. I just can't take it. Well, hey, if you don't like it, all you gotta do is swear to cut all ties with the outside world and accept living here forever. But it's only if every single one of you can get on board with that.
Damn you!
What the heck?
You make it sound like I'm some dark, awful secret society type of guy. Or in this case, a dark, awful secret society type of beer. Why are you putting an upstanding young citizen like me through such grilling ordeal? It seems like you are trying to use common sense to make sense of something that doesn't make sense. That's like trying to put a mile on a scale. It's just don't think it's possible. I don't think what you are saying is what I'm saying quite fit together. Meine Wäsche ist fertig. You must really hate me to get so angry, huh? But if you do that, you're breaking way up the wrong tree. What happened because more than one of you decided you wanted to get out, right? No matter how much time passes, you can't cut free of your regrets from the outside world. You're to blame. You're trapped, are you? Well, I'm sure once you learn all the mysteries of the school, you're thinking you change for sure. Think, boy, isn't so wonderful how we all get to live here forever.
What does this mean? Hey.
I feel like there's some deeper meaning hidden in there. Just like before. Anyway, let's...
Kills!
Hey.
When you say everyone, who's exactly referring to? Sorry, I said everything I've got to say. I need to save some of the fun for later. Es gibt Zuschauer. Pock. It's just like that he was gone. He left us there overwhelmed by nightmare irgendwas. Kann ich das speichern? Even after he was gone, we stood there forever, unable to move. Actually, no. I wasn't that long, I think. Everyone just lost their sense of time. We are all too scared. Scared of being alone. No one even tried to speak. Their faces were stunned. Kann ich jetzt speichern? No.
Just a second.
Can I talk to you for a second? Okay. She moved close and whispered to my ear.
Makoto.
Before we head back, there's something I want to talk to you about. It's about Sayaka, isn't it? I'm surprised you figured it out.
Listen.
I told you before the class trial started. You had to figure out the mysteries of this case yourself. You wanted me to realize how Sayaka betrayed me by myself, didn't you? The thought never even crossed my mind. I feel like such a fool becoming such an easy target like that.
It's true.
Sayaka meant to double-cross you. That's a fact that you can never change. But even till the very end, she wasn't sure of her decision. That's why. As she lay dying, she was thinking of you. She was thinking, yeah. You can't just say something like that. I mean, there's no way you can know that. Only Sayaka would know for sure, and we can ask her now.
However,
even if you can't ask her, you can infer it, don't you think? Her final thought, was how she could protect you.
So...
The fact that she used her last ounce of energy to leave her dying message proves it. If she didn't care what happened to you, she never would have left that message. Maybe she just wanted to get back at the person who had to kill her. That's certainly one possibility. But I don't think that's what it was.
Anyway.
She was uncertain. She wasn't sure she could kill her on the side. She wasn't sure she could get someone on the side view, which is why her plan failed. Hesitation attracted failure. Hesitation is defeat. Trigger von Sekiro. It's almost ironic when you think about it. Why are you telling me all this? Because you're the kind of person who can overcome this. Because you can move past the deaths of your friends Sayaka and Leon and keep moving forward. Without someone like that, the other would never been able to break free such a desperate situation. I'm going to carry them with the rest of my life. How could I possibly move past like that? Leon Sayaka will carry them with me forever. I'll carry their memories when I go. So instead of forgetting them, you're choosing the hard road. Well, I have high expectations for you. As she said that, she revealed the smallest smile.
Hey.
By the way, I have to admit, I'm curious. How did you know I wanted to talk to you about Sayaka? I'm psychic.
What?
Haha! Kidding. Oh. The end. Oof. To be continued. Kommt jetzt wieder das Intro? Got him! You received the despair bed present. Okay, what do you like to save? Ja! Easy as that. Ah, ich habe die ganze Zeit den falschen Button gedrückt. Nice! Du musst hier X drücken. Leute, wenn es euch gefallen hat, ja, das war der erste Class Trail. Ich nehme an, es wird weitergehen, bis der nächste Mod kommt. Ich bedanke mich ganz herzlich fürs Zusehen, wünsche einen wunderschönen Tag und sage tschö, bis dann und man sieht sich.